Michael Moseley, 37. I turned 38 in June.
And how long have you been CrossFitting?
Let's see. Let me have to add just a little over 2 years since I signed up for January of '09 is when I started. Actually, I was working at the training center for the Sheriff's Department, and I wanted to get in really good shape to, you know, be able to lead the PT for the recruits. And just by chance online, I found something called the Spartan 300 or something right when the Spartan came out, and I saw these guys doing amazing stuff. I was hooked. I spent about the next 48 hours online non-stop with no sleep, just watching, you know, Chris Spieler and guys like that in the early days. I've been hooked ever since. That was late '08 that I started doing that out of my garage and at the training center.
And you're a full-time sheriff?
Yeah, I'm a canine handler now, full-time, work 40 hours, well, actually I work a lot more than 40 hours a week, because I pull what's called off-duty gigs, which are, you know, right now I work a 4-hour shift on Wednesdays at Peter Piper Pizza as security, as a deputy, and then I do what's called Stone Garden deployments. It's the federal grant money that pays local authorities to help with border crimes such as human and drug smuggling, weapons smuggling, stuff like that.
When did you open your own CrossFit?
October of 2010. We opened this facility here, CrossFit Now. No, I had thought about it. My goal was to wait till I retired, and then I did the math. There was already 8 other CrossFits in Tucson alone. And I have about 7 more years to retire, so it was either you know, do it now or risk not having the opportunity later.
When you say retirement, do you mean as a job or as a CrossFit athlete retirement?
No, with the Sheriff's Department, I've been a deputy for 13 years with the Pima County Sheriff's Department, so I'll retire in about 7 years, hopefully.
So how do you do it, being a, you know, full-time and having a full-time job, CrossFit, you know, athlete, a box owner, and a coach, I guess, you know? It's
a tough balancing act. To be honest with you, it's you sacrifice sleep is the bottom line. Every Wednesday, that's when I usually get up about 10 on Wednesday afternoon. I go to work my off-duty gig. I come here. I usually train. I go to work that night, and then depending on the time of the year, I'll come in and train again. So once a week at a minimum, I'll go 24 hours without sleep, and sometimes train 3 times in that 24-hour period.
Has it affected your training or, you know, recovery time?
I think Chris DeRosa, who helps coach all the athletes, and he helped coach us last year when we did really well in sectionals. His theory on why I did well in sectionals was I actually was able to rest for the week. I took the week off prior and I rested because, quite honestly, if you look at all my numbers at my named WODs and stuff I do in here, it's nothing spectacular. But I do think there's something to be said with getting enough recovery and planning right and getting the diet dialed in. Than performing well during competitions.
How did you finish in last year's sectional? You finished first, correct? Yeah.
Yeah, actually, I finished first. TJ Dea, who was training with us, finished second for men, and then Amanda Butterfield, who's here with us now, and who was training with us then, placed first for the females. So we did really well.
What was your strategy going then in sectional? I mean, like, what was going through your mind? You know,
I went into that hoping I could make top 20. I don't take anything for granted. I honestly didn't think I'd do that well, you know. But I think my strength is my maturity. You know, I don't really get nervous, or I don't worry too much about not doing well. I mean, like you see today, I really did do that well, but I'm not going to lose any sleep over it because it's a sport. You got to take the good with the bad. And I see a lot of these guys, you know, younger guys and gals that get really bent out of shape. You know, if they do poor in one workout, you know. Classic guy to look at, I know you know him well, is Peter Ejid. I mean, they call him Mr. Class for a reason. The guy goes and competes at all these local competitions, you know, that may only have 1 or 2 workouts, which isn't a strength for him because he's, you know, very consistent, you know, and he doesn't always win, but he always acts the same. So, you know, it's just that mentality is, you know, take it for what it's worth. It's a sport and it's a game, and unless you're, you know, making big money on it, I wouldn't worry about it.
What's the story between you and Peter? Every time I, like, in a big competition, you guys go head to head, and it seems like it kind of like, you know, motivates everyone around you, and, you know, your WOD times and everything, performance, it goes, you know, increases dramatically.
I do. I think one thing that I like to do is, I think like last year training with TJ Day, I mean, he kicked my butt 5 out of 7 workouts, hands down, but it made me better. So my philosophy is, the way I train is, if it's a heavy day, I go find a strong guy and I work out with him. If it's a day with Metcon, I go find our best runner and I work out with him. While I'm in here, I prefer to be losing than winning, because then I know I've tried my hardest, because I never give up. And bottom line is, when you're ahead of somebody, or when you're comfortable and doing well, you don't work as hard as you should. When somebody's pushing you, you work twice as hard. As far as with Peter, I met him in '09 at regionals. And a funny story, I've been doing it for about 3 months, and we did this workout and I started giving him all this advice, and he told me he'd betted the 2 games prior, and it's quite embarrassing, but we hit it off, we stay in contact. We modeled a lot of what we do here after the way he runs his affiliate, and it works well. He's really about he's more about his people than anything else, and that's what we concentrate on here, is our athletes, whether they're elite competitors, do it RX. It's just you know, 95% of the people don't go RX and can't compete, but they work just as hard in here, and that's what we cherish as an affiliate, what we want to be known for.
Last year, did you go to regional?
I didn't make it to regionals because you know, and I want to make this clear, a lot of people, they think I hurt myself doing CrossFit. I've had no significant injuries doing CrossFit that were not pre-existing or freak accidents. I aggravated 2 discs in my neck, C5 and C6, to the point of being within hours of having surgery last year. We were doing a competitor WOD. I'd actually sprained a quadricep really bad, so we were only working upper body. I was recovering from that. We did a workout with kettlebells, rowing, burpees, and muscle ups. And I just started feeling this pain in my chest and elbow, and then midway through the workout, I just hit the floor and had to be rushed to the hospital. They were going to do surgery. They decided to wait for 2 weeks to see if they could get the inflammation down. They did. I got really good. I lucked out. Amanda Butterfield works for Proactive Physical Therapy, and they took care of me, aggressive therapy, and they got me back on track without surgery. And I feel I'm back better than I was last year. So it worked out well. But the injury was pre-existing. It was over a 10-year-old injury, and it just got aggravated.
So any regrets on, you know, not making the regionals that year?
Yeah, what I regret is not knowing when to rest, because I don't listen to my body. And well, this is a classic example. This week, I took the week off because I started feeling like I did before I hurt my neck last year. You know, lack of motivation, you know, not being able to eat, my sleep, waking up, you know, with anxiety, and I think it's just my body getting a little bit worn out. So I took this week off from training, which probably isn't the best thing to have to do, but that's where my wife and Krista Rosa come in handy, because they quit suggesting. They just started telling me, hey, you gotta rest. And I trust them and I listen to them, so I think it was a good thing. And I feel good now. I mean, I didn't perform very well today. I don't think it had anything to do with me taking a week off. I knew this was going to be a tough one, but I'm actually, I mean, with this behind me, I'm looking forward to next week. I'm very excited for next week's workout.
So what is your goal for regional this year?
To be top 3. I mean, the way I work is reality and possibility. The reality of it is that I don't think I'm the caliber of athlete of, you know, a Peter Ejid, a Patrick Berg, a Matt Chan, Chris Spieler. That's the reality. The possibility is on any given day I can be, you know, I mean, the programming can work to my advantage, and the stars can align just right. They have before, and so with that's what keeps me motivated, and that's what I think keeps me, you know, when I go up against Peter, it really ups my game. Is I leave reality behind, and I just think, you know, in terms of possibilities, and if you try your hardest, then you really don't know what you're capable of until the time, you know, the reps are done or the time's up. I would just say, if you're not having fun, then, you know, reevaluate how much you're training. I've gone through the obsession phase with this, where I couldn't, you know, let it go. You know, it was 24/7. you know, don't overdo it. I've got some athletes in here that, you know, you tell them to take a day off and they sneak in and they do 2 workouts that day, and that's the obsession part of it. So my thing would be to take it slow and think long term. That's the other thing I preach to a lot of our up and comers, is think 1 year down the road, think 2 years down the road, and you know, don't just think of the here and now. Don't try to put all your eggs in one basket for one competition. Think down the road, and I think that's the thing that's helped me the most preparing this year. Is, you know, I'm getting up there in the age, but I'm not going to stop competing until I guess I make a fool of myself and people start suggesting I stop.